Yeah. Go, 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 go. That part there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh. Another episode of Let's Play with Joe and Friends. Yeah, we have a special guest today. Yeah, my friend Lee, all the way from Belfast town. Belfast town. I don't know if that's a thing that
maybe back in
people...
the 60s Belfast, maybe Belfast town, but yeah.
Well, actually, no, and I from Northern Ireland. Let's say I know you're not actually from Belfast, so
Yes, that's correct.
But yeah, and it's nice to be doing something. Lee and I work together. Also have a passion for retro games, so it's nice to be doing something that's not work, quite frankly.
Yeah, it's very.
So we're here
very...
playing some Lolo's Adventures, and we were just talking. It's not something that's particularly nostalgic for me, although I have played it a little bit. But Lee, you're not familiar with this game.
No, I'm not familiar with it. I mean, do you know whether it was? Is it very much like a US-based game, or is it one of those worldwide?
Well, okay, so it definitely worldwide. I have no idea about the PAL situation, but it definitely, like, my first exposure to it was actually the Famicom.
Okay, yeah.
So, I just turned that guy into a ball. Nice.
And was that because did you like have a Famicom as a kid? Was that your first version of it?
Nope. No, it was more recently. So there's a local store here in Boston called Replayed. And they actually had it there, and I didn't know much about it. So it's a cool place. Like, they'll let you like pop something in if you're curious about it. So the guy, pulled it out of the case and popped it in for me to take a look at it.
Nice.
But yeah, that was my first exposure to it. So this not something that I am terribly familiar with, but I know it's a puzzle game, and I'm kind of just we're figuring it out as we go. I'm assuming oh boy. Oh, okay. So that guy will shoot you if he is awake.
Oh yeah. Okay. So they sort of sleep.
Yeah, it seems like they woke up once I got the final heart box.
Okay. I think I see what.
Oh, you know what? I think I can. Oh. It went through the trees. Okay. All right, we're learning. We're learning as we go. All right.
So each level must get more complex, a sort of maze to try and get all the items.
Yeah. So the last time I played this, I did get through a couple stages beyond this. Although clearly I did not recall correctly. Okay, we just don't want to get hit by that. Nice. Okay.
There we go.
All right, we open the door. There we go.
Very Bomberman-esque in a way. Obviously, I think like you mentioned to me beforehand that the enemies, I was going to say are very static, but then that guy's running everywhere.
Yeah. So, but there is a pattern to it. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's got.
Uh-oh.
He's got.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it a case of that guy you turned into a ball? You sort of shot him. I'm wondering, could you have timed it to hit that guy chasing you. Okay.
So I think you just have to not like once you get in his line of sight, it's like it's all over.
Yeah.
Seems like. So see, like here. Okay,
Oh.
I lost him. So now I think I have to.
You hide down there, maybe. Coming back. Okay. Uh-oh.
But now, crap. Oh, Lolo and Lala. Okay, there you go. So we get rid of that guy.
Just
So,
have to
but
move.
you were saying that, like as a kid growing up, you never had. Oh no. Oh, I can't get. The worm reappeared. I can't get past him. Oh my goodness! But you never had like a Nintendo. Well, you said you had a Super Nintendo.
So I was, like I said beforehand, I was very much a Sega fanboy. So like, once I got into, I'm going to call it proper console gaming, which was the Genesis, the Mega Drive.
Yeah.
So that's where I got sort of sucked up into the whole Sonic the Hedgehog type of thing against Mario. That competition that went on.
Yes.
So
So
for
were you
me,
like
it was
were you like you were like really passionate about it?
pretty much, yeah. Like I was buying they were called Mean Machines magazines. I don't know if
Okay.
you got over there, but it was very much, they were written for like Sega Mega Drive fans, and they
Okay.
were all, people would like post in drawings and pictures they made of like Super Mario being shot by Sonic and things like this.
Oh
They were
wow.
kind of, yeah, they're really funny. So you sort of got sucked up into that whole like, oh, I don't like Super Mario, but I like Sonic, that whole thing. But
Yeah.
so I was very much into that. But my best friend growing up at that time, he had a Super Nintendo. So when I went to stay at his, we
Oh,
would
no.
be playing like Contra on the Super Nintendo and Sunset Riders. I remember playing that quite a lot.
Okay.
Have you played that one before?
I have not played that one.
Oh, it's awesome. It is so cool. It's so you pick like one of 3 cowboys who have different sort of types of guns. So you get like one guy, I think he's like blue hat and jacket, and he's got like 1 pistol. Another guy has 2 pistols, and then another guy has like a shotgun. And you go through the
Okay.
level just shooting all different types of like bubble ammo at all these guys who pop up. So it's just a shooter, but it's so much fun. And you have to go through like going after these guys who are on the wanted list. So it's real good fun. I would highly recommend getting hold of that.
Okay.
So I remember
Sunset
playing,
Riders.
yeah, Sunset Riders. So I remember playing that quite a lot when I went to stay at his, and obviously Contra. So it was just incredible.
Obviously.
Yeah,
Obviously.
So yeah, so for me, the NES wasn't a console that I was too familiar with. Obviously, growing up a bit as I got older, then I was more aware of the likes of Zelda and things like that for it, but still not too familiar of the types of games or the range of games that they came out for it until I got more into like the emulation side of things, and then I seen a whole lot more. But by that stage, you're sort of too focused on, I guess, the graphics side of things, and so where the Super Nintendo was a lot more appealing.
Because of the graphics?
Definitely because of the graphics, and then I think some of the games were just so good that came out for the Super Nintendo in comparison. But then, like I said, I haven't got enough experience with the NES or that nostalgia behind it to sort of keep going back to certain games.
Yep.
Because I think that definitely drives the whole retro scene. For me, I could easily pick up so many Genesis games that I loved as a kid, and even now, the graphics wouldn't bother me. The soundtrack, it's just the nostalgia just keeps that feel there. And I'm very much like an RPG fan, so for me, it was very much story driven. I know obviously there was like Final Fantasy games and things that came out for the NES and the Famicom, which I've played since as an adult, but it's still hard to give up the whole nostalgia side of things and go towards the ones I'm mostly familiar with.
Well, I mean, nostalgia is like most of the reason, that like we're here in the first place.
Exactly.
You know?
Like, what was your first console, that you can recall as a kid?
The first console that really, like, that my brother and I really played was an NES.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, so like the town we grew up in had this thing called a swap shop. So there's a transfer station where everyone would like take their garbage basically, and part of that facility was like this thing called the swap shop, which was a place that like you just, oh no, I can't get that. But people would bring things that they didn't want anymore, but like were still good. So like household items, like old computers and things. Actually, the first computer I ever built, and I'm using air quotes, was like just like random crap from the swap shop. But like one day my dad brought home an Atari 2600, which even then, I mean, we're talking about like the very early 90s, but obviously even then was like already fairly dated. But it was like the first exposure to video games that my brother and I had. So, in that way, it was very cool and appealing to us.
Yeah.
But the NES was something that that was just like at our cousin's house. So when we would go visit, and our cousins were much older than us. So they were like pseudo not even ever around. And so, oh no, I have to figure out how to.
I know, I'm trying to work it out as well. I don't know.
Get in there, yeah.
These skulls don't move.
Yeah, I guess I should have tried to experiment and see if I could at least get rid of one of these skulls, so we would at least know. But yeah, so my brother and I would play, and I mean, it was a really funny mix of games. So like, we were obviously would most gravitate towards, okay, so we can get rid of it if we can get to it. I mean, I don't think we can now, but but it'll come back.
It does come back. Okay.
Yeah, but somehow we have to get in there. But we would gravitate towards like the obvious classics, so like Super Mario and Super Mario 3 especially, right? That's like in a lot of people's opinion, mine included, like the quintessential Mario.
Yes.
But it definitely. Oh, but we also played like other more. I don't know if obscure is the right word, but like, have you ever played Platoon for the NES?
I had it for the Commodore 64, but I never played it for the NES.
I mean, first of all, it like is a horribly confusing game. It's basically just a maze, and like for two, like, not that it's obviously like a depiction of war, right? It's Platoon. It's based on the movie, but not a particularly violent game, right? However, for two little kids that are trying to like navigate this very complicated, like confusing maze where everything looks the same, it just was like the most frustrating thing in the world.
Yeah, I can imagine. And like, was there a particular genre or anything as you started to get more experience with consoles that you started to navigate towards?
Ooh. Uh-oh.
They're coming after you.
They are coming after me. Oh no. That was crazy. I couldn't get that. Yeah. So once I don't know, basically once I was old enough to start buying my own video games, basically. Actually, no, before that. We had it, so eventually from that same swap shop came a Super Nintendo. And the Super Nintendo introduced me to like more strategy games, not yet RPGs, but like I played like Romancing the Three Kingdoms, Romance of the Three Kingdoms. So like pretty deep strategy stuff, especially for like, you know, I was older than I had been, obviously, but oh man, you can't get out of here.
Yeah, go. Oh, you're caught.
Jeez. Oh, I think I probably can utilize the blocks to my advantage there a little better. But we had a Super Nintendo for a little while, but we didn't really have any of the like we had, again, Mario, but then the other games. Oh, you know what we had for Super Nintendo? Kirby's Avalanche, which was just like another skin of Puyo Puyo games.
Yeah.
But that was pretty great. But there, basically, what I'm getting to is there was a Christmas where we finally got a PlayStation. And of course, with getting a PlayStation came the introduction of Final Fantasy, and I was hooked on Final Fantasy for, you know, I mean, continue to be, I guess. I mean, like, we talk about this all the time, you're well aware, but like, that is something that like really stuck with me. Although, and a lot of people are surprised when I say this, but the first Final Fantasy I played was 8.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
so, oh no, am I really stuck because I pushed that a little too far?
You are, yeah.
That's bogus.
Yeah,
That's
the moment
bogus.
when you push it higher, then you're gonna get shot.
Yep. Oh man.
Oh, so Final Fantasy 8 was your first?
Yeah, the first Final Fantasy I played. I mean, I'd been exposed to it. Like, the original Final Fantasy was something, again, that my cousins had on the NES. But, you know, when I'm like 6 years old, it's just not a very appealing game.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Especially that Final Fantasy. Like, you really have to, like... oh my goodness. I am not doing well. But yeah, so that was PlayStation was like really where I really got hooked on that. And yeah, 8 was the first one I played. So 8, despite people not really thinking that it's all that great a game, I'm, you know, obviously super nostalgic for. So so it's like, it's, I don't know, it's one of those games that I continue to like revisit a fair amount.
But it is such a great game though, and I know a lot of people I'm aware of who actually, some deem it better than Final Fantasy VII, which I find it blasphemous to say, but to be fair, Final Fantasy VIII is ridiculously good. Like I think I most recently played it maybe like 2 years ago, like from start to finish. And
it was for the first time, or you were?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm talking like maybe the, I don't know, 50th time. I can't remember.
Yeah, okay.
It was a lot. Yeah, I remember because I got hooked on Final Fantasy VII for the PlayStation 1 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because in my local town, in my village, was we call it a video shop, but just a wee place, like just a rental place, and they used to do lots of PlayStation games. And I remember picking up Final Fantasy VII and getting completely hooked on the graphics and just everything about it. And but then the moment Final Fantasy VIII came out, I was like, oh my god, this is Final Fantasy, thinking it was like a direct sequel, and I just had to go and get it, and it was incredible. And like everything about it, like you almost think the graphics were so much superior than 7 as well, but they're just different.
They are just different. I mean, ooh. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Okay, so they don't kill you, they just stop you. That's dumb. Now I have to...
So what is your doing there to like reset the level? What do you do?
I just hit select, but you use a you can see in the upper right, you use like a life.
This is like, you would think it looks like it's a really simple game, but it is quite difficult.
Yeah.
Because the one wrong move and then that's it. You sort of
you're screwed.
yeah. It's like level over. You're like, oh my word. You've got that one. That's good.
There we go. Ooh, stairs.
I got like massively hooked on role playing games through a specific game on the Genesis called Shining Force. I don't know if you've ever played it.
I have Shining in the Darkness. Oh no.
Yeah. So it was a direct sequel to Shining in the Darkness.
Okay.
So where Shining in the Darkness, you can't really traverse through the towns is really at all. You can kind of go from, you select which sort of building you're going into, don't you, from like the menu sort of type of place. Shining Force itself is more of you can walk through the town, you see people, you can interact with those people type thing. But then when you go out into into the world map, or it most depends on the story, but it then starts like a strategic battle, where you can move. Certain characters can only move into certain squares, before you would. It's like playing chess, and until you meet the enemy, and then you engage the enemy with either magic or with direct physical attacks. And I would highly recommend you check it out because it is an incredible game. Even the animation style for the battles and things are fantastic, and the music is fantastic, and I got like massively hooked on it when I was very young. And then the direct sequel to that again was Shining Force 2, and it's just even far superior again. So that series alone just got me sort of hooked onto the RPG genre. And for me, I've never really been able to let that genre go. It's like my go-to. It's for everything, like going into PlayStation 1, 2, everything. It's just I have to look for RPGs. And then there was another game for the Genesis called Landstalker. Have you played it?
Yes, Landstalker's awesome. I haven't beaten it.
No,
but Landstalker's so cool.
Yes, it's so difficult though, isn't it? Like
it is.
It's the camera angles of like when you're trying to jump on something, you can just fall to your death, and but the storyline and everything is just fantastic. You've got the likes of Secret of Mana,
Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger, my word, what a game.
Yeah, Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. What is it? Is it also in the PAL region? Is it also Final Fantasy 3?
I think it's.
You know what I'm saying, right? Because like here it was 3.
I think it was 6 in the PAL version.
Okay, yeah, 6 is like, I think 6 is what it, like the actual chronology.
Yes.
Or the original chronology.
I never really tried to work out or read up why it was considered as 3 in like the North American version.
Yeah, I have read up on it. I would have to go look again though.
Yeah. But I mean, such a good game. Did you ever buy like the anthology or the Chronicles or something for the PlayStation 1?
Yes. Yes. Because that had that and Chrono Trigger, right?
Yes. But they're so more expensive nowadays to try and buy.
Oh my god, that like the cost of all of this is insane, and like on one hand, it's cool that it is something that has garnered so much popularity, but like it's like prohibitively expensive.
Yes.
And it like the expense of it has made it so that, like, I don't know if you're familiar, there's a lot of YouTube channels that center around like hunting for retro games. And even those channels now, like, going to like flea markets, or I don't know, is flea market a thing?
So not really. We have like the closest we have to those would be like car boot sales.
Okay, is it basically like a big market where like vendors come and
Yeah,
You
in
know,
a
like
way.
people can set up stalls or booths or something.
Yeah, yeah. You can go to like certain stalls, or if you went to like car boot sales, it's just like people go with their vehicles and whatever they're wanting to try and sell off, and sometimes you can pick up
Okay.
hidden gems there. But I've always wanted to go to a proper flea market, because I think you could probably get good gems there. But then you're probably going to say even there they're really expensive.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I mean, you're. I feel like you're gonna have more of an opportunity to find something, but and I have, you know, like I found some cool things. Are you familiar with like the Secret of Evermore on the Super Nintendo?
Have you got it?
Yeah, I found it actually at a flea market in Florida. But you know, for a few bucks, which is great.
Yeah, because it goes on eBay for like a lot of money.
Oh, does it? I don't even like. That's the other funny thing is like I don't really try. Like if I'm looking for something, then I'll look on eBay, you know, because I want to get it. Especially now, like I bought, you know, I say now like pandemic times. I have bought things on eBay more just because it's the only, you know, it's the online flea market, and I'm not going to physical places to buy things, so you know.
Yeah. So did you buy much from eBay during lockdown?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, my wife would say I did. But yeah, I've probably bought like 5 or 6 games. Trying to think of what I did get. Oh, you know what I got? Is the Famicom version of Bucky O'Hare. I don't know if that's something you're familiar with.
I'm familiar with the cartoon.
Okay.
I used to watch that growing up. It was awesome.
So it's like it's a Konami platformer is also extremely hard. As you may imagine, being a Konami platformer.
Yeah. Does it play very similar to the Battletoads game? Is it like that?
No.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't say so. I would say it's more similar to. Oh God, I'm trying to think of what Bucky O'Hare is most similar to. Have you ever played? Being a Sega fanboy, have you ever played Rocket Knight? Any of the Rocket Knight games?
Yes.
Okay, it's. Oh, okay. Maybe this could work.
What timing though? Oh, you could push them if you keep pushing it up. Yeah. Oh no, maybe not. Yeah, run.
Oh no. Oh,
Oh.
yes. Got it. That was close.
That was.
That was really close. But yeah, it's similar to that. Obviously, the Rocket Knight games were on the Genesis Mega Drive, so they're prettier. You know, they're nicer looking and they play. But it's a similar kind of game.
Okay.
Yeah. It's also there was another NES game called Eight Eyes, which also a platformer. They don't play similarly, but they have a similar concept. Actually, probably a better comparison is actually Mega Man, but where like there's the home screen where you can select the different stages. Like it isn't linear levels. You can start at any of the stages before you go to the final stage and final boss.
And so with your collecting, Joe, like I'm always curious, do you just try and pick up different games for different consoles that you own, or is there any specific consoles that you're like specifically mostly working towards trying to get games for?
Well, I'm not too much of a like completion. Like I like to get games that I either thought were cool when I was younger, or games that seem interesting to me and I would want to play now. I'm not like I don't I'm not like, oh, I want to have a complete library of anything.
Yeah,
Because
too many.
I don't really. Yeah, it's just too much. You know, I guess there's like there's things that I like to have a complete collection of, but not like a whole library for a system. So like the Final Fantasy series, most of the SquareSoft games. There's this like certain Gundam games that I really enjoy. So there's things like that. But even those, well, I do think it's kind of cool to have a complete set of whatever that might be. It's still because I enjoy the game, you know. So like there aren't really like obviously having so many video games, like I'm not playing every game I own like on a very regular basis, but like I do play everything that I, you know, acquire, whether it's buying or finding or, you know, being given or whatever.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the YouTube channel Cinemassacre?
No.
So they're they have a few different like series on it related to the game. It's kind of pop culture-y, so they do a lot of movies and they do a lot of video games. But one of their things is just called James and Mike Mondays, but they play games. Oh, this will be interesting.
Oh, the moment you get the other heart, you still got one left.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Whoops.
So you get that last heart and then run.
Right, but how do I get the last heart? Because he's gonna shoot me. I needed the third box. Dang it.
We need to block the bridge.
No. Here, I'll show you. You'll see what I mean. Because I can't get the heart in the lower right corner because he'll shoot me down.
Oh, you can shoot through the tree?
Yeah. The green trees.
Yeah.
Can't shoot through the brown. Well, I guess they're boulders. But
well, can you take the bottom right heart first before one of these other two? Just think it's it's going to be timing as to which hearts it will be the last heart to take.
Well, I think I can. Yeah, I want to because the skulls move so fast. I want to get the bottom right heart last, but I have to use the third green box and put the third green box down
below the tree.
Yeah. Do that. Then I want to go get the last heart so the skulls don't come. Then right.
You got to time that getting between the yeah. Go. That part there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, I didn't even think of it. Oh my god. Yeah,
okay, yeah.
When it becomes a caterpillar again, does it still block? Oh, genius. Okay. All right, we got this.
Trial and error.
Yes. It's a good thing that you seem to get unlimited continues. Okay, then we can get these two blocks. And we can get the last. Okay, alright, this is gonna work.
That is so tricky though. Like,
yeah.
You go back to that, I mean, obviously it's not just kids back then when this game was made, but you know, if kids were playing this back in the 80s, it's gonna be so challenging.
Oh, totally.
There you go.
Oh my goodness.
It gets harder and harder, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, It definitely is getting harder and harder. Okay, that stupid armadillo is there. Wait, what?
That's an armadillo?
It looks like an armadillo to me. I have no idea if it's actually an armadillo. Yeah, I don't know how many floors there are. So what I wanted to do was shoot. Oh, come on. What I wanted to do was shoot him with one of the bubbles. Because the thing is, man, because then you. Oh, okay. We can trap. Okay, we trapped him. Then we use our other shot for this. Oh, I thought... Okay, yeah, it does sink. Okay, so this is gonna be tricky because... Ooh, that skull is gonna come alive.
Straight for you.
Yeah, like as soon as I get it. Shoot, I don't know, man. I don't know about that one. So how do you, I mean, like, do you go to, I don't know, how do you, let's say pre-COVID, how would you, like, go game hunting? You talked about the, what were they called? The flea market?
Yeah, so...
version?
Yeah. So you've got, like, car boot seals, which are, I mean, it's really potluck whether anybody's ever selling any computer games, but
Gotcha.
they're you know, hit or miss, but worth checking out. I would typically, like, when I would go into Belfast would be like that CEX store that you're familiar with, and there's sort of a, what's the other store called? I guess it's kind of flea market-ish, where it's like a buy and sell type shop.
Okay.
Where people go in and, you know, they give in their goods and get some money for it, but then you go in and you can purchase it for a little, you know, cheap enough price than what you would anywhere else. But there's one of those in Belfast that I would pop into just to see if any of the hidden gems are there. There used to always be a specific, like, retro gaming store in Belfast at one point.
I was gonna say, I remember I'd never been to it, but it had closed recently enough the last time I was there that, like, Google still thought it might be there.
Yeah.
Does that sound like it could be possible?
It's closed properly now. I believe the guy, like, I would have spoken to the guy a few times when I went in, but I think he had, like, personal things he had to sort of end up selling the shop, and he sold all his goods to whoever was buying it. So I'm hoping whoever bought it will, like, reopen it.
Oh, nice.
But they might have just been a collector themselves and wanted everything, because he had, like, loads of consoles, and like, I bought quite a few games from in there, actually. Like, I'm not massively familiar with, like, the Sega Saturn games, but I've tried to build my collection gradually. I bought the game Burning Rangers from in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's, like, I've seen it on eBay and stuff, and it's, like, ridiculously expensive.
It is crazy expensive.
Yeah, and, like, I got it where it was, like, pristine condition, the manual pristine, for, like, I think it was £90, which is probably, like, a quarter of the value for it now. Like, it's crazy price.
Right.
So I took a punt on it that day, because, like, I had to Google it, and it's like, what's this game, like, what's it worth? And when I seen it was a lot more expensive on eBay than what the guy was selling it, I was like, straight in there, I'll buy that. And so I went for it. But that was sort of, they're sort of the places that I typically would go, like, physically go, and then eBay has been my sort of go-to place most of the time. There is a thing, like, I think it's in the States, Gumtree. Maybe it's not.
Gumtree.
Yeah, it's probably like Craigslist. It's very similar to Craigslist.
Okay.
So it's called Gumtree, and we can use, like, an app and stuff, and you go and buy, you know, things off people directly who's selling them, and there was a girl that was selling her whole collection in Belfast, and then so like I spotted it on by random chance, and I seen she was selling Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she was selling it, and it was like perfect, absolutely perfect condition. Manual, soundtrack disc, everything that's included with it. £100. I was like, I messaged her straight away. Hold that for me. I'm having it. And she's like, okay, first come first serve. She said she was being tortured by people, looking to buy it, which is understandable. So
Right.
yeah. So then I was checking the rest of her collection online and seeing if there's anything else I wanted, but there wasn't. And then she was selling a faulty Xbox One, like the Forza edition, the blue one.
Yep.
But she said faulty, it wasn't starting up and stuff. So I was like, how much are you selling that? So she said it was for like £10. So I was like, yeah, throw that in. I'll buy it. So I got my friend to pick it up from her, and then I got them. So the game itself, perfect, absolutely brilliant condition. The Xbox One, I opened it up and really it was just a loose cable. Reconnected it, works perfectly fine.
Oh,
So
nice.
I know. So I've got like I got the working Xbox with 1 TB hard drive. Like even I would have paid that just to get the 1 TB hard drive from it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I was delighted. I was like, £10 for this, perfect. So that's another avenue that you can take if you're not wanting to go eBay and wanting to go local. But I check it often, and for where I live at the moment, and there's not many sort of retro stuff being sold. A lot of it are PlayStation 4 and Xbox games that are being sold. Which, although I do have some interest in buying some, I'll only do it if they're like real bargains.
What I do is for some of the more expensive games, if I'm passionate about like having the physical item, so like I this is a sad one, right? Like I had Chrono Trigger on the Super Nintendo, not as a kid, but maybe like in high school. Like we still had the Super Nintendo. I wanted to play it. I played it. And then for whatever reason, didn't have it anymore. And buying Chrono Trigger now is like super expensive, like hundreds of dollars. Right?
Yeah.
So, but I bought a Super Famicom copy for like complete inbox and everything, for like basically the equivalent of less than $20. And clearly it's in Japanese, but if you play it on a Retron 5, you can just put a language patch on it, right? So it lets you, yes, it is emulation, however, it lets you have the satisfaction of like playing the cart, and like, I don't know, just
Gives you that.
Yeah, exactly.
Gives you that feeling and that experience, which is why we still play the retro consoles.
Right.
Yeah, because like I'm trying to get, I'm gonna say my kids, but it's my eldest. Like, is where I'm trying to introduce him to the older consoles and things, and you have to find the right games that for a 6-year-old to be into. But it's at the moment he's like just crazy about the likes of Mario Kart, but he loves the original Mario Kart on Super Nintendo, so that makes it fun.
Yeah. That's going back to that is really difficult for me.
Yeah. Oh, I'm terrible at it. Like, I'm terrible at racing games in general, but like, that I'm really bad at Mario Kart. Like I have the Wii U, and my son destroys me in it every single time. Like, and he purposely will like be behind. Like if I'm leading in a race, he will drive behind me to hit me with a red shell, and then I end up coming like 10th out of 12 races. He wins the thing, and I'm like, I can't play with you. You're just too good at this. And I keep looking at him like I'm getting destroyed by a 6-year-old at a game, and I'm classing myself as a gamer. I'm like, oh, this is not good. Terrible. But then you kind of look for the whole, you want your kid to surpass you, I guess. But maybe not 6 years old, but
yeah, that's a little early.
It is.
No, I don't think so, but What if we... I know what we can do.
So bring it that way. Okay. Ah, smart. Yeah. There you go.
That works, right?
Yeah. You didn't have to go all the way around though, because my dad didn't get the heart.
All right, smarty pants.
I was like, where's he going?